welcome to Phoenix Children's Live. I'm your host, Riley O'Brien, a brand manager here at Phoenix Children's Hospital. Today I am joined by Ilse Alexander and Angelica Baker. They work for our Center for Family Health and Safety here at Phoenix Children's Hospital. They're both injury prevention specialists. Thank you, ladies, for being here today.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So just a few reminders, even if you're joining us for the first time or maybe a seasoned viewer, we do take questions live during the segment, and you can leave those below the video in the comment box. Show us some love, throw us a like, share the video with your friends. Yeah. And you can view this video anytime you'd like afterwards. We archive them here at Phoenix Children's Hospital Facebook page. And I think with that, we'll kind of get into our segment today. So our topic is holiday travel safety tips. So ladies, can you kind of explain to me what the Center for Family Health and Safety is?
Sure. So the Center for Family Health and Safety is a center that encompasses not only injury prevention, but also our child abuse prevention and strong families, as well as our COLS program, our COLS Mindful Meet program.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so with injury prevention, Ilse and I are both part of that department, and I've been part of the team for 10 years now, and so I've been focusing on child passenger safety during that time. And so that's primarily what I do, and then Ilse can talk a little bit more about what she does.
Awesome.
So I've been here roughly for 2 years, and my program focuses on home safety and safe sleep. So I do the education in the community as well as here in the hospital.
Wonderful. Well, we have definitely two experts here today. So when we get started, when the holidays are coming up, there's a lot of traveling for families, right? New environments, new places to go. Very fun, but probably a little bit stressful.
Absolutely.
So can you walk us through some of the travel safety tips that you'd like to share with our viewers, just to kind of keep in mind when maybe they're on the road going to that new destination to visit family and friends?
Absolutely. It's definitely, car seats are going to be huge if you have little ones. And seat belts, even for your tweens and your teens, making sure that they're secured. It can be definitely hard with a car seat, trying to get on the airplane, carrying all of that stuff. We completely understand trying to travel with everything, but we definitely recommend that you use a car seat on the airplane if you purchased a seat for your child, but also that you have your own car seat that you take with you when you rent a car and you arrive to your destination. The big reason for that is that you're going to be more comfortable with your own car seat. You know the car seat, you know how to install the car seat. If you try to borrow a car seat from the rental car company, you may or may not know the history, you may not be comfortable with it, and the rental car company doesn't know how to help you out either. And so you want to make sure that you have your own, your child knows it, it's going to be something more comfortable for them, and then you can travel that way. For older kids that may need a booster seat, another nice option for them is there's different travel booster seats now out in the market. This is one model here, and this is actually a booster seat that's inflatable.
Oh, wow.
And so you can actually fold this and carry it in your suitcase, or put this in your child's backpack or their suitcase, and then you can have it with you when you arrive to your destination.
That's amazing.
Yes, it's very, very cool, and it's inflatable, and so you would inflate that, and it's done great in crash testing and everything like that. So that's a great option. And then for your older kids, definitely make sure that you have a seatbelt for them, that they are properly secured. And teens, if they are going to be borrowing the car, maybe they're going to be borrowing grandma's car to go run to the store, run that last minute errand, make sure that they are secured and that they're buckled up and that the rules stay the same. And friendly reminders, we can all use them.
Exactly.
And our teens can use those, and so that they know the rules and expectations.
Perfect.
Now, here in Arizona, it hasn't been that cold. It's been really reasonable, and so our kids aren't wearing huge, thick coats yet. But some kids, if you travel far, far away, you may be needing one of these big, thick, fuzzy coats. The thing to remember is that you do not want to buckle your child up into that car seat with this big of a coat. What ends up happening is that you add so much bulk between them and the harness that they could have you risk having them be more injured in the event of a car crash. And so you would want to take the coat off of them and then wrap the coat over them once you've buckled them into the car. Or you can use a blanket and just kind of put that over them. But you don't want to buckle them in with a big heavy coat either.
Good to know.
Yeah. So Some other things to just keep in mind is make sure you have all of the things that you're going to need for that trip ready to go. If it does end up happening that you need to breastfeed your baby or your infant, make sure that you pull over, take that break. Everybody could use a stretch, especially your infants. Take your infant out of their car seat so they can also stretch out and relax.
Wiggle around a little.
Yes, wiggle around. We all need that stretch, especially even after a long flight too. So make sure you take your baby out of the car seat, pull over, have the car stop before you do that, and then you can continue on your road trip too. If you have toddlers or teenagers, bring their snacks with them. Have them help you out package the pre-portioned snacks so you aren't having to unbuckle yourself to then reach back to help your child. So try to do as much prep work before. I know it can be so hard, especially with the holidays. It's just there's so much going on, but it's adding one more thing, but hopefully it will make your road trip a little bit easier.
And limiting distractions too for overall safety.
Exactly. Now, if you are traveling at night, it can be very, very tempting for your tween or your booster seat age child to try to remove their seatbelt and try to fall asleep across the back seat. And it seems so natural. Maybe you did it when you were a kid. I know we did it when we were kids. And it's something that can seem so like it's going to be no big deal. There's not that many cars. You just never know what can happen. So make sure kids are always buckled up, and you double check if they are falling asleep. It got too quiet back there. You guys know when it's quiet, there's something going on. So turn around, make sure that they are buckled up and that they are still properly secured before continuing on your trip.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So some of the other things on the list for travel safety is when you get to your final destination. So when you're at a new destination, maybe it's your parents' home, maybe it's a friend's home, but it's a home that maybe you've never been to before. It's not child-proofed like your home. So it was like, can you kind of give us some background on how families can kind of prepare for that new environment with their kids?
Definitely. So the first thing, if you are traveling with a baby, what I do recommend is bring along your pack and play. If you don't have one, you could go ahead and ask your friends where you're visiting and see if maybe they have one that you can borrow, or even purchase one over there. The importance behind that is that we definitely don't want you co-sleeping with your baby. So never put a baby sleeping with you in the middle of the bed, just because you don't want to go ahead and roll on top of them, or you want to go ahead and suffocate baby. The other thing too is markets do sell a sleep sack. This is what we call a sleep sack, so it avoids using a blanket. Again, it's going to go ahead and prevent from the baby, pushing it up and then landing on the face, suffocating the baby. So definitely take your pack and play with you. The other thing too, whether you're visiting in a hotel or a family or a friend's home, get down on the child's level. So if it means that you have to go around, crawling around and kind of see, what shiny item is kind of getting your attention, see what's down there, because your baby's most likely going to be attracted to that. One of the things is, believe it or not, magnets. This is a magnet here. I don't know if you guys can see that there, but it's a very powerful little thing. They come in all shapes and sizes. Here's another magnet. The other thing too is button batteries. We have them in any small items. You have your keys to unlock the car. Right here, there's another one. It's an ornament. Nowadays, we have like the little necklace with the ornament with the lights. Yeah. Yes. So they're everywhere without really knowing that they're there in your home. Sometimes they're easily popping out of whatever it is, and babies could go ahead and easily grab it as they're crawling and put it in their mouth. One of the things that we recommend is that if you suspect that your child might have gone ahead and swallowed something, is definitely go to the emergency room. Some symptoms include vomiting. The color on the baby as well is going to be your attention there, but you don't want to go ahead and wait until baby passes them. That could go ahead and cause death.
Oh goodness, yeah.
The other thing too is if you are visiting a family member and you know that they are taking a lot of medications, is ask them politely to go ahead and keep them in a locked, safe area. Whether they go ahead and keep it in a bathroom where they have to lock the key, or in a cabinet. I mean, there's ways to go ahead and secure these without the baby getting to them, or toddlers or crawlers or anything like that. The other thing too is with the shopping season, we get really creative. So we have a lot of things going on in our house, from food to candy to toys. We have a lot of visitors coming in, and you don't know what they're going to be bringing. So this here is a little choking device, just to give you the idea. Candy here, if it goes through here, that is most likely going to go ahead and cause an injury for your child. If you don't have one of these, I did bring a little toilet roll to give you the idea. You can just go around your house, doing the same test. And that's, again, to prevent.
Where would families maybe get one of these?
I'm sure if you go to Walmart, you could probably get
online.
one.
We also found one just right now.
Okay.
And it just would serve as just a guide for, can this be a choking hazard for my child?
Yeah.
Especially if we're going into a home where they have older children. So the older children have lots of little toys and little things that they like to play with. And your toddler may want to join them, but it's exploring with their mouth. And so just to keep those things in mind. But the toilet paper roll works great too.
Right. I mean, look, believe it or not. And then the other thing too is, hanging our ornaments. So we are all wanting a fresh tree in our home. If you decide to go that route, water your tree, don't let it get dry. We definitely don't want to go ahead and cause a fire in your home. So make sure you water your tree. And if you want to go ahead and get a fake tree, that's perfectly fine as well. Nothing wrong with that. I have one.
I have a fake tree.
I love it. But the one thing that we want to go ahead and draw attention, so these ornaments are made out of glass. And so you definitely want to go ahead and keep these, up higher versus lower. You don't want the babies playing around with it. I know sometimes, it could go ahead and be very eye-catching for them. They think it's a bomb, they throw it, and then it cracks.
Right.
The other thing, too, is even if it's not a glass ornament, you do have these little tools that you could go ahead and use. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you go ahead and put them so that you could go ahead and hang your ornament. Again, this may not be something of hazard, but it's this piece that could be of hazard.
Definitely.
In addition to that, we have our gifts. So when you are purchasing a gift, do pay attention to the age group. So this here is for 3 and up. You definitely don't want to go ahead and be giving baby this. So we have a choking piece right here, and on the list too, you have the rubber band. If I could get it off here. Thank you.
I think.
And then also to the Legos. I mean, we always keep Legos. I know I usually go ahead and keep some in my purse to keep my child busy in those places where I have to go ahead and kind of keep them entertained. But if you have, younger babies in the home, you definitely want to go ahead and keep attention, keep close eye to that. You don't want baby to getting them if in case they fall on the carpet, on the ground. And so if you have to consider something that's going to go ahead and keep both groups entertained, then try to go with the bigger, still the same thing.
Yeah. And that's perfect too, even for traveling in the car, is to have some toys with you so that it does kind of keep them busy. And not so bored and asking like, are we there yet? Or anything like that. But make sure that then sibling isn't passing a small little toy, or that sibling isn't crying for a small little toy that they can end up putting in their mouth. Especially with keeping kids rear facing longer, we want to make sure that they are still safe. And so these bigger toys would not be a choking hazard, and would be something that would be great for the car. But you do have to be careful with some items that if you have too many, especially if you have too many, like tons of presents and your luggage and everything, all of those things in a van or an SUV can also become a projectile.
Okay.
And so you want to make sure you keep those items secured, whether you use bungee cords or other ways of tying things down so nothing shifts in case you have to brake suddenly or anything like that.
Definitely. So what are some of these other toys that you brought as, examples?
Yeah, so we have a Barbie here. age group would be 3 and above. But again, so we have high heels, small high heels. But again, if you have a crawler, you know, that could easily go ahead and be something that they could go and put in their mouth. Bracelets, you can see that as a choking hazard as well. Okay. Let's see here. Puzzle pieces.
Got it.
So I know my baby when he was younger, it's like he'd have really good motor skills. You know, I'd find him on the floor just with the tension of just like a little light, tiny string that I don't know where that came from. But he would just be like, just laying there. And I'm like, what are you doing?
So all those things are, even if they're not interesting maybe to us, you have to kind of put yourself in, well, I guess maybe sometimes they wouldn't have shoes, but in their shoes, essentially.
Right.
Yeah. In their minds, I guess.
Yeah, that's what they say. It's like, you know, the younger ones may not be interested in gifts such as these. They would be more interested in the paper and the boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And then before you know it, you find them like eating the paper, the wrapping paper.
Oh, yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah,
little bows, things like that you might be
exactly.
looking to, you know, maybe it's already been opened up by older sibling, but it's on the ground and it's shiny. Might be really interesting.
Especially too if they're teething. You know, that's another thing
point.
as well.
Yeah.
Puzzle pieces for teething. Let's see here. I did bring some safety items as well, so to kind of go ahead and kind of have you keep that little peace of mind as well. So if your family member does not have a safe place to lock items, then they have these tools that you could go ahead and purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Then you just go ahead and put these over the knob and then lock it.
Okay. So it'd be for like a cabinet or...
Cabinet.
Okay.
Correct.
Absolutely. And so if there's cleaning products in there, we understand that you're going to be traveling to places where they're not going to be moving all of their cleaning products. They've had their cleaning products under their sink their entire life. Mm-hmm. And so that's just where it goes. And then at least you could bring this with you and you have an extra layer of protection. Perfect. Especially with the holidays, we're so distracted. Mm-hmm. We want to have fun and enjoy our families. And so at least by bringing these items, then it'll be an extra little bit of peace of mind. Mm-hmm. That you've done what you can to secure items and make the environment safe.
Right. And then Helica right now is holding a cover, cover to go ahead and just cover those so you avoid children getting creative and putting things in there. The other thing too is we have a lock for your oven door. So during this time of season, everyone's cooking, the house smells wonderful, everyone kind of wants to get a little sneak peek or a little taste. And so if you're cooking cookies, as an example, some children tend to get really excited and want to go ahead and open the oven door to see what's inside, and this would go ahead and help out for that.
Yeah, and I know my nephew, when he was little, he actually liked to put his toys in the oven too.
Oh my god!
It was just a nice storage place.
Right, but when it's on.
But when it's on,
just in general. But
and you throw your little horsey in there,
made of plastic.
Yeah,
that doesn't smell like cookies.
So just keep that in mind.
It's an experiment
at that point. And so, are all these things like available online or like at a normal like retail store? Okay, perfect.
Absolutely.
Window cards, I did bring those. Again, children will go ahead and get creative, get excited that, oh, grandma's outside, you know, I can't wait to see her. They'll tend to go ahead and lean too close to the window without knowing, you know, this is how we get a lot of falls here at the hospital.
Okay.
So again, this is something that you could easily purchase at a Target, Walmart, anywhere.
What does the window guard lock the window, or how does that kind of work?
I'm not too sure.
It actually prevents your child from being able to open it all the way.
Oh, okay.
And so you can still open your window, but you may only be able to open it like, let's say, 4 inches. So you can place the lock where you'd like, and then that way your child isn't pushing up against that screen because grandma just got here and then falling out.
Okay.
Or especially if they're waiting for Santa. Or if they are looking at all the Christmas lights and want to see the neighbors' Christmas lights.
Want to get closer to that window, it at least creates a barrier and something that you can control space-wise.
Exactly, because those window screens are there to keep, the window screens are there to keep the bugs out from coming into your home, but they're not intended to keep anybody inside.
Right, for leaning-wise.
Yeah,
definitely.
that's the only thing. And so that's why those are great, and they actually wouldn't even be something that's permanent on the window or anything like that. It's totally something that you can add and remove easily.
Okay, so you could bring those with you to your new destination.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. And then this is great too, especially when you have older kids. Maybe you send the older kids upstairs and they just got a football for Christmas. you would want to make sure that the windows are closed and they're not going to be trying to run after that football and catch it.
Yeah, windows definitely. That makes sense.
Yes.
So those are definitely a handy tool. Things that I just learned about. So thank you guys. So one of the other things was helmets, and I know that we have one out here.
Yeah. So your child may be getting a bike from Santa this year, which is great. I love getting a bike for Christmas. I can remember those Christmases very clearly. But you must not forget the helmet. This is very, very important. And these helmets are great because what you will notice is that it has a nice shiny shell on the outside. So what ends up happening is the way the helmet works is that if your child were to fall, then the shiny helmet actually allows them to keep sliding. So an impact, it's not just stopping.
Oh.
And so it allows your child to slide, and there's less likelihood of injury. So these are very important, but also for parents, if you guys are going to go on a family bike ride, set the example. Mm-hmm. So you too have to wear your helmet so that everybody on that bike ride is safe. And you're setting the example for your child, just like you would set the example by buckling up with your child in the back seat. You have to have them see you with the bike helmet as well. Now, when you're fitting this helmet over your child, you want to make sure that the front part is nice and low over their forehead. So you should only be able to put 1 or 2 fingers above their eyebrows. So it's nice and low and covering their forehead. And then in the back, it would be even, and so it would still be covering the back of their head. And then this strap should be nice and snug under the chin, maybe 1 or 2 fingers only under the chin. You don't want it too loose, and you also don't want it unbuckled, which some kids will do. And to look cool, we'll unbuckle it and then lean it back. You want to make sure that this is secured. It's going to feel tight. They may complain about it, but you need it nice and snug so it doesn't shift if they were to have a fall. And these you should use not only with bikes, but also with scooters, with skateboards, all of those wheel toys. Definitely use the bike helmet. And if you have a little one and they're getting a tricycle, start now.
Right, make it the example.
Exactly, start now. We're getting a tricycle, we have to wear a helmet even on our tricycle. And that way they're always safe, and especially if they're riding out their bike, trying it out Christmas morning, have the helmet ready to go, because there's no way you can stop them once they have it in their hands. I know I would. Yes, I would not have wanted to stop. I'm ready to ride my bike and test it out. So,
right.
Yeah.
Are there any other tips that you'd want to share with our audience about, traveling for the holidays, going to that new place? Any other kind of safety tips that you think might be important that we haven't covered already?
Definitely. One more. So I have here matches with me. So typically around this time we want to go out and keep the home warm. We have a fireplace, or maybe outside we're bonding. We're doing a bonfire out there. Children get very, very attracted to these. They want to copy what the adult is doing, and because they see this, they also want to go out and try it. So if you're going to go out and purchase matches, just make sure it's something child-proof. Make sure you put these at a level that the child's not going to get to. Of course, you definitely want to go ahead and avoid coming to the hospital on Christmas Day. So make sure that these are out of sight.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then for traveling also, or if you're having family just come see you and they're coming in with little kids, make sure that before you back out of that driveway to make that last minute grocery store stop, that last item that you forgot, make sure you always know that the children are inside or they are with an adult before you back out of your driveway. You don't know if a child decided to stop and play behind your car, or if they left their bike, the brand new bike or the brand new scooter behind your car. You want to make sure all of those items are free and clear and your child is safely inside of the home or at the door, and not behind you before backing out of your driveway. Especially a reminder for those teenagers too, making sure that they know that when they're backing out, just to be very careful, because Christmas morning everybody's going to be out there in their pajamas riding those wheeled toys.
Right, giving them a first run, having fun outside, especially because the weather's so nice here. So
exactly,
it's definitely a good reminder. Slow down. Don't get distracted. And kind of keep some of those routines is kind of what I'm hearing in place, like wearing a helmet, Same car seat, keeping the seatbelt on, some of those pieces
Absolutely.
are always just as important during the holidays.
Correct.
Absolutely. And it's going to be, and that we understand it's stressful. It's very, very stressful with traveling, but as long as you can keep those same routines, then it kind of, at least the expectations are still the same, so that hasn't changed. It's just we're adding a bunch of presents and some luggage to the back.
Exactly. Oh, and food, yes, very important, and food.
Yeah. So be careful with those hot dishes when you are traveling. Make sure those are secured so nothing shifts during travel and it doesn't cause any injuries to
And
anybody.
bite size for babies too. Not babies, but more for the ones that are able to go out and eat on their own. But just make sure you cut things small bite size for them.
Perfect. And so I know on the website at phoenixchildrens.org there is an injury prevention section that families can kind of visit and learn more about all your different programs. So just wanted to let the viewers out there know that they can go ahead and look online. Again, that's phoenixchildrens.org. It's under injury prevention. And then also we do have a car seat helper app that our Center for Family Health and Safety created, which is pretty impressive. And so you can find that in your Apple, iTunes store, and then the Google Play as well to download. It has, tips and tricks and all of the ways to really keep your child safe. We want you to enjoy your holidays.
Yes.
And so I was going to ask, do we have any questions?
Yes, we actually have one question. My tree is on a table right next to my couch. It's 3 feet tall, and my 2-year-old son keeps trying to pull on the branches and ornaments. Do you have any tips to help him keep from getting hurt?
I would say if you could go ahead and walk around with them, just hold him. Sometimes just the fact that he wants to touch the branch, or even just look at the ornaments, that's his way of kind of communicating. Just pick him up, kind of show him around, talk to him about the dangers at his level. Like, you could say it's not safe if you pull, it's going to fall on you. So those are just a couple of tips.
The other thing is I would move it away from the couch, perhaps because of the couch, it's easier for him to reach. And so maybe finding another location would be better, or a location where it's easy for you to see all the time. So if you are going to be more in the kitchen, maybe it needs to be closer to the kitchen so it's closer to you. And if all else fails, sometimes we have to go with a really small tree. And we may have to go with a Charlie Brown tree, just until we get past this age, if it's just really attractive, which it is, and we can't blame him or anything like that. But those are some tips too.
Definitely, thank you. All right, and I think with that, I'd just like to let everybody know that we have a Facebook Live next Thursday, December 21st at noon. It's our recipe club, and they'll be cooking up bundt cake, which sounds absolutely delicious, so we hope that you tune in. And so I just want to thank you ladies for coming. You did wonderful, and
you.
It was, learned so much. It's amazing. So remember, you can ask questions even after this taping is done. We'd love to pass them along and have Ilse and Angelica answer them for you. Thank you.
Bye, guys.